If you'd like to see my makes for the week, stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Welcome to all my subscribers and welcome to anybody who is new. And a big thank you to those people that have bought me a coffee through my Ko-fi account. It is very much appreciated. And I brought a new stand for my filming. So let's hope this works better than one that falls down and I have to prop it up with a couple of books. So I would hate to buy equipment when I could buy fabric. That's all I'm saying. So I've got a few makes this week. Now the first thing I made was a sewing mat for my granddaughter. Because I know she's not watching this and she's getting a sewing machine for her birthday. A real sewing machine. So I have made her, and she's going to have it on her desk in her room in her new house. So this is a sewing machine mat. If this was your desk or your sewing table, whichever you're going to have, whatever you might call it really. That is what it would look like. You've got all these pockets here. And I believe they're calling out a scraps pocket. I actually use a whole different thing for my scraps. I have bins at every station. So it is fully quilted. Now this was already an embossed fabric. So, and you can see I've just done long lines of quilting. This is the backing fabric. So just some batik fabric that I had in my stash, and I've just used some other, what do they call it? They don't call it joiners. Whatever the little pieces of things that you buy in quite plain colours. I don't think they call it mixers either. They call it something else. You're probably all telling me. I can't remember what they're called. But bits that will make your fabrics coordinate. So, and I just cut up strips of that to make a binding. Now it's not cut on the bias, it is cut on the straight. So we've got this single pocket there, a narrow pocket there, a bigger pocket there, we've got a pocket there, and this one has also got plastic on the outside so that you can see whatever things you put in there. Let's try not to stab a hole in it, Deborah. So in the plastic one, you can see what's in it. I probably wouldn't put scissors in it. Now come to see that they could damage it. And another large pocket and another small pocket. So I made that for Phoebe as part of her birthday present, and it was a bit of a, I better hurry up and make this. Her birthday is in October, but I thought she was actually getting her sewing machine for Christmas, but she's getting it for her birthday. She's going to be 8. Now, to make this up, I actually used these instructions as a guideline. And this is Lillyella Stitchery Undercover Maker Mat. And so it didn't really turn out the exact size of theirs. I think theirs turns out to be 20 inches wide and 23 inches tall. I think mine's practically 23 inches square. And there's also, you use it as a sewing machine cover as well. So it has like little ties here on the side. But I thought I would make Phoebe a separate sewing machine cover for her sewing machine so that she doesn't have to keep on lifting it up to get the mat out from underneath it. Yeah, they don't pull it up over it and tie it. They take it out from underneath it. Oops. Like you'll see in this picture here. And you leave all your stuff in it. Wow. I thought I'd make her a sewing machine cover for Christmas and also a bit of a little caddy to keep on her sewing desk. But I want to see the area that she's got, that she's using for sewing, because maybe she needs some sort of shelf that can be wall mounted or something like that. So size might make a difference. it might need to be longer rather than, yeah, that's much more square shaped. Does it say what its size will be when it's finished? Well, the bottom of the caddy is 10 inches by 16 inches. That's 10 inches, which is 25.5 centimetres. 16 inches is nearly 41 centimetres. So that's an okay size. I'm just not sure how much stuff she's going to have, and I wanted to be able to keep it all tidy. I think I do know what things she's got because I gave them all to her, and I decided that I would keep it a fairly plain colour because I suspect that she will want to make her own. And I thought that's a really good project for a kid, is to make a special mat for your sewing machine to go on. You can practice quilting. I could help her with the binding, but the quilting's something she can do when I'm not there. She knows how to do quilting. We just go through, you've got to sew all these strips together and then get mum to iron them in this direction. And I've already told my daughter, apparently she does own an iron, which way to iron them up. So that was the first thing that I made. So I really made that sewing machine mat out of fabrics out of my stash, and just a bit multicolored. I'm not sure what color her room is going to be, but we can work out when she's in her room what color one she would like to make. So I might wait and make the caddy to go with that at a later stage. And I thought the caddy would be really good for her to bring her sewing machine here to my place because she's going to want to bring it. She usually sews on my dookie, but I know once she's got a new sewing machine, she's going to want to sew on that. And the next thing I did was, this is the Elliot top. And I just found I was not wearing it. Now, the reason I wasn't wearing it is because the Elliot top is, well, the version I made anyway, much longer at the back than it is at the front. And so what I did was I cut it off. When I've got things that are that long, you can already see how flat my bum is. It just made it look flatter. And so the other day I cut it off so it would be the same length, cover stitched it, and I've been wearing it ever since. And I actually looked the other day and found these flares. I think they're the Jude jeans. Yes, in fact, I'm sure they're the Jude jeans. And I put them on and thought, wow, these are so comfortable. Why haven't I been wearing them? Don't think I made them last year. I think I made them the year before. I made the Elliot in May this year. And that's a Helen's Closet. It's really nice, and it's got a really big neck, and sometimes I just turn the neck over twice, but it's very warm. It's like having a scarf on. And if you're in Victoria, you'd understand why you need that on. I tell you, I think the other day it was 5 degrees, and it was in the middle of the day. And then when I looked up the weather, it said, feels like it's -3. It was so cold. I actually made the Jude jeans in May of 2024, so well over a year ago. And it's really nice fabric, and I was just reading in my book, the fabric's from Wefton Wool. That's why it's so nice. Oh, it'll be a So Autumn denim, and that I only need to make the size 10, and the flares actually suit me. I'll pop a photo in. I actually really finding them so comfortable to wear. So I changed the Elliot top, and I've been wearing it ever since I changed it, so I'm glad I did. I guess I was just not feeling as comfortable with it longer at the back. I think there is a version of the Elliot that is the same length all the way around. The next thing I made was an Oodie. So much fluff. Vacuum's full of fluff. I think I've emptied it twice. So This is an Oodie, and I didn't use a pattern. I've already got one, and so I just like sort of measured it, sort of lay it on it and cut it. Really happy with it, very warm. Found I had no pink cuffing. How could I have no pink cuffing when I make so many pink things? I don't know. So decided I would use aqua cuffing. And this fabric actually comes from Spotlight, and it's called Fairy Bread Cozy Fleece. I mean, it's probably full on polyester. And all of the ones, I actually do repairs to Oodies quite a bit, surprisingly. And it's from people standing too close to either an outdoor fire or an indoor fire that's got no screen on it. And when it burns, it melts. So it's got like melted holes in it. And I've repaired lots of them. So I'm guessing that it's got a fair bit of polyester in it. But really happy with it. It's a really cute print, Fairy Bread. But the mess, huge mess with it, but really happy with the result. But after that, and I cleaned my sewing room, I made this beautiful jumper. So this is a mashup between, I'll pop photos in. I don't know, I need to be on one side so that I can put the photos in. This is a mashup between the Vera, which is a forget-me-not pattern, and it's still free, and the Trudy turtleneck. Now I use the body of the Vera, so I'm doing the armholes and the side seams of the Vera, and I'm doing the sleeve width, because it's just like normal sleeves like that, and the upper neck part and the low collar turtleneck for the others. Now this is the top that I make all the time in my green suit. I think it's in a Pico, and my grey suit, which is in like a cozy knit from Spotlight. That's the pattern I've used. So this is just a made up pattern. So that's the Vera and that's the Trudy turtleneck. So I've used the body of this because it's a little bit wider than the turtleneck. The turtleneck, when I make them, I actually make them so that they can be worn under things. Sometimes it's just a coat that I've got it under, but I still would rarely, and I think I make the 14, so it's not like they're really tight. I would rarely not wear a vest or a jacket or a jumper or a cardigan over the top of it. So that's the Vera. You can get those two different sleeve types. I have made those sleeve types before too. That's quite nice. And that's the Trudy turtleneck. I think that's the rollover one, and that's, they call it a low collar, but it just means that you don't turn it over. It's just staying straight, and it's about that high. So I call it the Trudy and Vera mashup. That's what I've got it in my patterns as. This fabric, which is the Cuddle Soft Knit Jersey. Yeah, that's what it's called, from the Daily Society. And this is in Dusty Lilac. I see the only colour she's got left is Dusty Pink, which does suit me. This fabric is absolutely beautiful. When you put it on, it's like one of those really expensive jumpers or cardigans you used to be able to buy from David Jones. They're very fine knit, but hangs beautifully because it just skims over your body and it doesn't actually stick to any of your bits. That's what this fabric is like. I'm very, very impressed with this fabric. I was very tempted to think, I could get the Dusty Pink colour, and then I thought, I've got the pink jumper that I just bought when I was in Ocean Grove. Stop buying things, Deborah. But very impressed with this beautiful fabric. And the cover stitch machine loves it. Oh, and I did use a variegated thread on part of it, on the inside of my cover stitch. That'll be a maxi lock. So one of the keys for me in making my cover stitch machine work really well is to use good thread. Now that variegated one's a maxi lock, I know that. I use either maxi lock, Resant, Gutermann or Metler in it. If I try and use any cheaper thread, which might come on a big spool like for as an overlocking thread, not as successful. You have to have thread that doesn't break. And in fact, I think one of these rows that you can see on the outside is actually a stretchy thread, whatever that's called. Mariflex, that's what it's called. So really happy with this jumper. I think it's beautiful. Very impressed with this fabric. If you've been umming and ahhing about that fabric, and I know there is only like a dusty pink colour left, really good quality. And then because I just hadn't had enough mess with my Oodie, I cut out my black fur coat. Now this is the fur coat pattern that I use. Weirdly, it has no pockets. What sort of coat doesn't have pockets? So with the pockets, you really need to make sure you understitch it, even though it's fur, because they're going to try and pop out the sides. All else failing, you can put a couple of whip stitches on the inside lining to hold the pocket bag in there so it doesn't want to poke out. It does tend to want to poke out. My coats are fairly loose. I think I make the medium. Oh no, that's a lie. I make the large. What size does it say the large is? Large is a size 16 to 18. Oh yes, that's right, because it says the bust is a 97 to 102 and mine's either 99 or 100 depending which day it is. So, and the medium, the bust would only be 87 to 92. And I know that there's ease added in after that. Well, I can fit a ponte coat under the teddy bear fur coat that I call it, because when I was a kid I had a teddy bear that colour, that fawny colour, and so I always call it my teddy bear coat. But I have worn a ponte coat under that once at children's football training, across the road from the surf beach in winter in the night. So I like it roomy, but what I have done this time is I have bought some fur hooks. So this is a fur hook. So this is your eye, and this is sort of bound. Can you see that that's sort of got a fabric texture, it's like a bit of cords threaded onto it. And this is the other side, the hook. So I don't really like, we can't really put a button on it. How would you put a buttonhole on it? You'd have to make a big loop to put a button on it. And so I thought, I'm going to see if I can get some fur hooks, which I could. I got my fur hooks from Jack Stock in Moorabbin. So I needed to get more zips for men's jackets. Seem to have a habit of breaking their zips all the time. So that's the pattern there. And this is the coat here. But I've made it 8 inches longer. Now I wanted this coat to be either exact or 1.5 centimetres longer than my Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress that I made the other day. The beautiful black and white wrap dress in the Maryland fabric. For want of not wanting to get fur everywhere. Looks a bit brown in this light. Well, it's black. fur. Seriously, that looks brown today. Looked black in the knife. I guess it's black from a distance, depending which way you hold it. So, that's the fabric. And I wanted to go for a really jazzy lining. So that's my lining. So it's going to be quite a long coat. And I only had 2 meters of fabric and I got it out of it. So I was pretty pleased about that. And the other day when I was in Spotlight, they had 1 meter of this fur. Yeah, it goes in that direction. And I really like this green color. And you can see how wide fur is. It's actually really wide. And so I bought that thinking I'll make a sleeveless coat, so a vest. Maybe just with a neckline that comes down like this and not reveres or anything. Besides that, I made the Freddie dress by the bold one that you'll have seen in my video before this one, in the beautiful fabric that is the Johanna Ralph linen. My design will have it on their website on the 2nd. So if you're looking for any of that fabric, pop over and get it. But very, very happy with that dress. Really, really happy with that dress. It's a shame I don't have a wedding to wear it to, really, because it would make a beautiful wedding guest dress. So if you're thinking of really good dresses to make, there's some beautiful fabrics around. Let me know what you're sewing. It's where I get lots of my inspiration and ideas from, is from looking at what other people make. So everybody have a great sewing week. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.